Hello everybody, this is Houston Brown with Houston Brown Photography, and this video is not a tutorial but a little bit more. I hope to do this to open up some discussion because I'm fairly new at real estate photography and I've kind of been in a bit of a bubble, if you will. Let me take this thing out of my ear. I've been in a bit of a bubble, and what I mean by that is I kind of fell into real estate photography, and I had a friend of mine tell me, hey, you should, I got a friend that works for, this company that pretty much specializes in real estate or luxury real estate photography. And that's really what I wanted to do. Because I didn't feel, first of all, that there was a lot of money in real estate photography, and that is not my main business, by the way. But I love photography. I've been doing it for years and years and years. I did portrait, I tried I tried several things, but none of it more of a pro hobbyist, if you will, I guess, like a lot of us are. I have the equipment, I got the lights, I've rented studios, I've shot models, I've shot weddings. I've kind of run the whole gamut. So I wanted something that could actually produce an income. So I called this company, they liked my work, and they've been calling me ever since to do work. Now, it's luxury real estate. They don't call me as often as I would like. I'm not pursuing realtors, but ignorance is bliss. And what I mean by that is, they were paying me 4 or 5 times as much as what I'm seeing other photographers get. Now, I figured, I didn't know. Again, I'm kind of ignorant to all this. So when I would hear that a photographer could shoot an entire house in an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours, I was, what? Because I was spending all day, and I thought I was doing it all wrong because I was lighting it. I was spending quite a bit of time in post, but they were paying me quite a bit of money. Or it doesn't feel like that now, but at the time it felt like quite a bit of money. And for the amount of work that we were doing, I was doing, I felt like, so one of the times I was on a site and I was actually doing just the drone shoot for a house. And one of the top photographers for this particular company, or one of the most sought after, one of the most requested photographers, was there. And I asked him, and when I walked in the house, there was equipment everywhere. He had lights, and like studio lights, not speed flashes. He had some, but he had a bunch of equipment. So I asked him, I was like, how long is it taking you to shoot a house? He goes, well, I'll be here all day. And I asked him about post, and he said probably almost a full day to do post. So at least I felt better about that. But then when I talked to other photographers that were shooting in a house in an hour, and you see most of the tutorials on YouTube stating that, we got to get in and out of the house, and you got to process a whole house, and they're doing 3, 4, 5 houses a day. I was like, okay. So what it came down to is, do I want to spend more time on a house and do it that way, make maybe the same amount of money, and just concentrate really getting some great photos for that, for one house, as opposed to 3, 4, 5 houses? I don't know. So I'm really trying to open up some conversation, because I'm asking, I think the photography industry as a whole in the last 10 years, let's say, probably less than that, has gone from photographers being able to make a living to barely getting by. If they don't have some other second income, you really can't make it. There's, of course, exceptions to that, but for most of us, we're either having to do teaching or supplement through YouTube, which is difficult in of itself. Again, not a pro, but research has indicated as such. So all these things. So I would really like to know what most of you are doing. Well, I kind of know what you're doing. I guess what I'm really asking is, I feel that the bar needs to be raised. Real estate agents are expecting to pay $75 up to, anything over $200, and they fall out of a chair. Now, I kind of get that. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so the market here, I'm sure, is different than, obviously, every place is unique. But there are plenty of houses over $1 million in this area. But for $1 million and up, I would expect, or at least $1.5 million and up, I would expect a realtor to be not so resistant to paying top dollar. Now, I feel that the problem with that is education. is that they don't know the difference between and I'm not trying to take away anything from any photographers, because I know there's plenty of you out there that shoot HDR, tone mapping, and flambient. I've done some flambient myself. If you don't know what flambient is, that's combining ambient light with flash, which I think is a good method, but still that requires time. It seems like in order to charge, let's just say $200 to shoot a 4-bedroom house, you got to turn that around pretty quick, because if I'm shooting 3 or 4 houses in a day and those agents want that back in 24 hours, unless I'm up all night, I got to pump that out pretty quick. I don't have time to fiddle with a bunch of images like I normally do. So I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. I feel like the quality is there, but the numbers are not there. How is this going to be done? It can only be done if we all get together and decide that we're not going to be charging $150, $175, $200. And I feel we should be getting twice as much for what we're currently being paid. Now you may agree with me and go, well, that's just not going to happen. It's all about quantity. But I think the quality has come up. I've talked to some commercial photographers, and which is why they got out of real estate, is because there just wasn't enough money in it for them. So they can go out and do kind of what I feel like I'm doing, but they're only shooting, they go to a building or a really nice house, or for whatever reason it's a commercial shoot. The builder has hired them, the architect has hired them, and they're getting $2,500, $3,500 for a shoot. I talked to a guy in Colorado on the phone. Now he's been doing commercial for a while. He brings a lot of equipment, not that that matters, but he's been doing it for a while, and his quality is exceptional, of course, but not that much more exceptional than what I see some of you guys doing in the run and gun type of stuff. I'm assuming it's run and gun, because I look at some of these websites and I'm like, how can you make money charging $150? So this is curiosity. I'm trying to generate some conversation here. I'm not trying to offend anybody, so if I have, my apologies. Again, I'm a little bit, I guess, new, because I've been in this kind of little bubble, but I started noticing as of late, because I'm doing ranches as well. I have a drone, I'm doing a lot of aerial stuff, so they're asking me about doing interiors and stuff. And I had one guy, I got to tell you this story. I don't know this to be a fact, but based on the listings that he had on his website, he's got ranches all over Texas that he has listed, and these are all there wasn't one ranch under $3 million. Most of them were between $3 and $8 million. He had one that was $19 million, had a really nice house on it, and the pictures were appalling. Taken at angles like they stuck the camera up in the corner, the verticals were all tilted. I mean, it was horrible. I'd hate to think. And so I quoted him a price. I told him I would shoot one part for free. I wouldn't even charge him. So he had to pick. I do video, aerial, interior, exterior, and a dust shot. And I gave him a quote for each of those. He emailed me back, and I quote, "You are high as shit. No wonder you're looking for work." And first of all, I thought that was fairly unprofessional. But second, I was just like, okay, this is a guy selling multi-million-dollar properties. And quite frankly, most of the images that he had weren't even as good as some of the $500,000 houses that I see around here. So I don't know. I'm at a loss. So my whole point of doing this is mainly to vent a little bit. So if you've listened this long, thank you very much. And I hope to see some comments below. Agree, disagree. We are where we are. You might as well accept it, Houston. I don't know. I'd like to hear your feedback. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we'll have some more tutorials coming your way. We'll see you soon.